righty, here we go. Dirty Thursday brought to you by River City Speedway. And I tell you what, myself, Dale, the producer, Stephen Lewis, we are jacked. Bobby Martin, Torey Martin in the studio today, all the way from Florida. How about that? We'll be back with them and more. But also bringing you today's show is the Greater Grand Forks Fair. Get ready for the Greater Grand Forks Fair, June 18th through the 22nd at the Grand Forks Fairgrounds. 5 days of awesome fun for the whole family, including a sea lion splash show, a petting zoo, and the racing pigs are back. Check out the grandstand for Friday night racing. Darian Lee performing live on Saturday and Baja Racing on Sunday. The Greater Grand Forks Fair kicks off Wednesday, June 18th with Heroes Day, with all military and first responders getting in free. Get a chance to dunk County Commissioner Terry Bierke and Grand Forks Mayor Brandon Bochenski. The voice of the Grand Forks Fair is back, along with a Battle of the Bands, Kids Day on Saturday, along with a fireworks show and more, and wrapping up Sunday with Senior Day in the Baja races. Bigger and better than ever, the Greater Grand Forks Fair, June 18th through the 22nd at the Grand Forks Fairgrounds. Find out more by going to grandforksfair.com or call 701-330-1238. We'll see you at the fair. Make sure you buy your pre-sale tickets in advance. You get free gate admission. Just go to grandforksfair.com. All right, if you have any questions or comments for myself, Stephen Lewis, Dale, the producer, Bob Martin, or Torey Martin, our phone number at the studios of Grand Forks Best Source, 701-213-0863, 701-213-0863. And here we go. Let's get it out of the way because we got a lot of stuff to talk about right away. Here we go. Our daily segment called Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. Jokes My Neighbor Tells Me. Speaking of Florida, why couldn't the baby Jesus be born in Florida? Why couldn't the baby Jesus be born in Florida? Well, because they couldn't find 3 wise men or a virgin.
Yikes.
Yikes.
That's yeah, what does Florida man think of that one? There?
That's a good one.
Well, thanks. And I just try to relate to what we're doing, and I poke a little fun because we know you're really Minnesotans, so there we go. A couple of things, in fact, a bunch of things we need to talk about. Flag raising ceremony is going on at the Listen Center Saturday at 10 o'clock. Taps and the national anthem will be played by John Maxwell, colors by the American Legion family and the Sons and Auxiliary. And that will be Saturday at 10 o'clock. Don't forget, too, the big happenings going on Saturday during Flag Day, by the way, downtown at 1:30. All you Republicans, make sure you go down there and raise some help for that one. There we go. They were calling it No King Day. On Flag Day. Another thing.
Oh, that's what that was. I saw that drawn on the sidewalk in front of the Frog last night.
It's all the people that think Trump wants to be king, and so there's like 1,500 of them going around the country.
I wondered what that was. So, yeah, I saw that written in chalk.
Anybody got a diesel that blows really heavy black smoke out? Because I'd love to borrow it for a while.
Here I thought it was a band that was playing in the under the water wheel or something. I had no idea what was going on.
No, and I can't believe they're letting them even have Town Square for that thing. But also, okay, can we roll up the Nick Minsky thing? Okay. They got the ride for Nick Minsky. They're calling it Ride for Nick. Bike, car, and truck run. Saturday, August 23rd. Event is kid-friendly. There'll be a free will donation. They're starting at Up North Pizza. They'll hit the road at noon. Crookston. They'll go to Crooks, the Spot Bar in Red Lake Falls, the Rusty Nail, my old home in Thief River Falls. Hanks and Warren, Oslo will be Jameson's, and then back up to Up North Pizza. A lot of great sponsors, and this is all in memory of Nick Minsky. All the proceeds will go towards purchasing a memorial bench in East Grand Forks and or will be donated to Journey Home Animal Rescue, River City Speedway, and the Biker Down Accident Fund. There'll be a silent auction all day, food after the ride at Up North Pizza. Find out more. Call Casper at 701-541-5115. Let's do our track schedules. Dirty Thursday track schedules is brought to you by Forks Karting Association. Watch the karts race Wednesday nights at Forks Karting Speedway at the Grand Forks Fairgrounds. You can find out more by going to forkskartingassociation.com. Tonight in Norman County Raceway in Ada, it's the Sanders Sport Mod Challenge, but they'll have the Wissota Modifieds, the IMCA Stock Cars, Sport Mods, Hobby Stocks. Wissota Midwest Mods are there, and the INEX Legends. Tomorrow night, River City Speedway, big night, 5 classes. Wayne Anderson Cup night. We got the sprint cars, of course, Wissota Street Stocks, Wissota Midwest Mods, and I think the A mods.
Yes,
and
sounds like it. Yep.
Okay, and the B mods. Red River Valley Speedway in Fargo tomorrow night. Their weekly classes. They're going to have fireworks tomorrow night, which seems like they do a lot. And the IMCA Sport Mods meet and greet. And then let's see here. We'll go to Devil's Lake. Big one. Saturday. The $5,000 to win NLRA Late Model Golden Hammer Classic. Got the Midwest Mods, the Street Stocks, the Pure Stocks.
Greenbush is off.
Yeah, see, Greenbush is
for
off.
I believe it's Kicking Up Country in Carlstead.
Oh, yeah, yep, that's going on.
So they're off.
You hear Dustin Strand talking about
Yep.
that. And speaking of Forks Karting Association, Dale, the producer, let's have a little update from Forks Karting last night.
Yeah, it was a huge night last night at Forks Karting Speedway, week 3 of their season. A lot of repeat winners and a lot of new winners, too. I got to do some post-race interviews. You can check out the complete recap on the footage from last night's races. Search Forks Karting Association on YouTube or on Facebook. Some notable winners. Cash Maltz got back-to-back wins. So did Lincoln Corinta. I got to speak to him in a post-race interview. I guess his first year up here, Corey Linden may be familiar with him. He used to race at Red River Kart Club, so cool picking his brains about his background. And big race last night. Junior 1 Yamaha, Junior 2 Yamaha, check that. Jalen Ross and Micah Gander put on a show, nose-to-nose racing from start to finish for the entire feature. It was great talking with them afterwards, too. So find the complete, again, all the results, the complete live stream of last night's races, Forks Karting Association on YouTube. And check it out, Wednesday night races each and every week through August, except next week is Tuesday because of the fair, and they're located just adjacent from River City Speedway.
All right, thank you, Dale. And speaking of the fair, Dale and I will be teaming up again for the Baja races on Sunday, the last day of the fair. That'll be fun. Okay, one more thing I want to mention here before we get into the show. Scott Bloomquist, death has officially been ruled a suicide. And a lot of people thought about that, and it came down to the National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, and Bobby, you know all about those guys. They said there was no mechanical problem while listing the probable cause as the pilot's intentional flight into a building as an act of suicide. I mean, granted, this was an old Piper J3C65 Cub, I believe, from like the late 30s or early 40s, but those planes are still, I mean, they're very, very good airplanes. A lot of people didn't know, but he had a series of health issues. He had the lower body injury from that motorcycle crash down at Daytona, diagnosis of prostate cancer. He had back surgery and a recent hospitalization before his death due to complications from a horsefly bite that went unnoticed due to the numbness from the motorcycle crash. Over 600 late model wins, 94 Lucas Oil wins, 33 World of Outlaw wins. One of the best ever. Scott Bloomquist, and it's a shame. So I just wanted to get that out there. Before we get going now, let's talk about one more thing. NHL playoffs tonight. We're all hockey guys around here too. And Stephen Lewis, we're going to put the camera on you. You can see you got the Oilers hat on.
We're not feeling as good today as we were on last week's show after Monday, but
they kind of got shellacked a little bit there that last game. What was it, 6-1? Something like that?
Yes.
I think it got to be 7-1, didn't it?
6-1.
Oh, maybe.
Felt like it was 12-1, but whatever. So, but anyway.
And so game 3 or game 4 is tonight. Okay, 7:00, still down in Florida. And before we get rolling, turn around. Let's take a look at that jacket you got on there.
So,
I mean, he's sporting some really cool stuff there.
He's got some classics going on.
Let's see. We'll try and do a.
There you go. Good. There we go. You're good.
I didn't realize I could see myself. Yep.
You look better that way.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Starting right in already.
Yeah.
What vintage is that? What year is that?
That is 1990.
1990.
That was the start of it all. Remember, Steven?
Yep. So running down a dream on the bottom there. Full Moon Fever had just come out, and that was on in the garage all the time. So made it on the race car, and rest is history. So.
Now you played hockey.
Yeah.
Class of '82.
Yep.
Green Wave.
For the Green Wave.
My arch enemies growing up.
Yep.
Called you guys potato heads. That's what we call them.
East Grease.
and it was so funny because years later I'm talking to Mike Useldinger, and he's like, I'd say, you East Greasers, and he Dinger, he'd got the hat on a little bit. Oh, you're an East Greaser now too. And it's like, no, I'm not, Mike. I'm rural East Grease. So leave me alone there. But you, I mean, up until you moved to Florida, you still laced up the skates every week up here. Are you still skating it all now, or are you done?
No, I played twice a week here. Beer league hockey. It was Wednesdays and Sundays, and down there I was trying to get into a league. Tarek Howard told me to get a hold of a guy he knew in Orlando, and the plan was that I was going to continue to skate down there, but it was an hour drive.
Oh yeah,
it was $1,000 to play, and you actually had to try out. And I just want to go have a beer and have some fun, and I didn't need the 1 hour drive each way and all that. So I was like, no.
Yeah, it makes it a little challenging.
That's you can. It's great up here. It's 10 minutes, 15 minutes to the rink, and then you go to your local establishment. You have a couple, you go home. That was going to be another job type thing, and I was like, oh, at this point, no. I went rollerblading yesterday.
Oh, how'd that go for you?
I didn't fall.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, those are the pictures I should have brought up. I still got those in my phone.
That was. I missed a race because of that crash.
Yeah. Oh, man, you looked like
you
looked like somebody did a tap dance all over your face in that one. Yeah. A lot of people texting already, and I'm so far behind. But I love the jacket, Steven. And what's a Pee-wee dance?
Oh boy,
what's a Pee-wee dance?
Yeah. Oh, you mean like Pee-wee Herman dance?
Yeah.
Who's gonna do that?
Yeah.
You?
Yeah. Might as well. I've been up already, so I know you probably won't do it. So
Okay, we'll put some music on for you.
I'm not afraid to embarrass myself.
I'd walk into the shop, and Steven was so young. He'd have a Simpson helmet on, and he'd just be walking around. I think you were still in diapers, actually. And
wow,
to just make him, just make it comical, I'd do the Pee Wee Herman dance when we came in, and not everybody liked it because it was usually early in the morning, but I was trying to wake up, put it that way, and so him and I had fun with it anyway.
We're getting so back and forth here. I have a whole schedule of things, or a whole list of things I wanted to talk about, but I'm just going to throw that away. First off, I'm going to just backstep a little bit. And again, all kinds of people are already texting in. Kelly O'Hara, good morning, boys. Give Bob a hi for me. Miss him on the track here. Good morning, Bob and T-Man from Travis Strandell. Wade Nygaard, hi, Bobby. A lot of these people, Timmy Schwantz, Cool Jacket, Steven, Bobo, would you happen to have any picture of NOSA Wing with Butcher Hockey logo on it?
Yes, I actually think I do. I played for the Big Daddy's Butchers.
Oh, sure.
And one of the actual guys on the team, he gave me some money.
Yeah.
And he was a UPS driver, and he didn't need to do it, but thought it was pretty neat. And I said, what do you want me to put on the car? He goes, just put Butcher's Hockey. So
cool.
I put Butcher's Hockey on it, and it was a 1-year deal on the nose wing. And I'm pretty sure I got a picture of it, actually. And you know what? In fact, there's an antique mall. I think it's an antique store, and I think it's in this mall. And my wife found a nose wing of mine from back in the day. And she bought it, and I think it's got Butcher's Hockey on it.
Okay.
And it's sitting in the garage right now.
So the Big Daddy's the bar.
Yes.
Okay, because I used to have a softball team, Big Daddy's Budweiser. Tony and his mom sponsored us, but
it's so funny. She just messaged in.
Yeah, was that her that messaged in? Might have a nose wing in our living room with Big Daddy's logo on it. How about that?
Also, now we're really in trouble. Here's Gajewski, too.
Yeah, Gajewski. Bad day to be a twisted T when Torman is there.
I mean, we don't have to pay attention to anything he says.
He's been in the studio before here, too. So,
Yeah.
How have you been?
I've been good. Just trying to grow a business from the ground up and go from there.
And what is your business? Tell us a little bit about that.
Basically, it's bringing innovation back to sprint car racing, because nowadays you can basically buy anything off the shelf or from a company and have it shipped right to you. So we're trying to bring back the innovation factor back into the sport.
Okay, you got a name for the company?
Push Start Innovation.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
How's Florida treating you?
It's it's getting easier and easier every day.
Yeah, because I know it's so hard to happen to lay around the swimming pool all day long, right?
It's, I didn't think I would, end up liking it, but it's a lot better than going out in 20 below weather. And,
Oh, shit, yeah?
yeah. So
Yeah, because I remember when you first moved, you weren't too happy about it.
I was, for lack of a better term, I was pissed.
Yeah.
He was, and that. Well, Florida's not a sprint car state. It's a modified body
Sure, yep.
type stuff.
Modified late model body.
Not a lot of sprint car racing, but you can race year round. Well, you can still get 24 races in. The problem is that there's a lot of weather.
Mm-hmm.
So when we went down, I said, we're still going to go racing. And that was kind of my way of getting him to be a little more happy.
Sure.
But he wanted to be here every Friday. And
Yeah.
I get that. It's, we all want to live that life. But I got tired of the cold.
Yep.
and
Oh, yeah.
I bitched about it a lot. And then
Almost every day.
Tammy one day said, hey, I found a disabled handicap house, Lady Lake, Florida. And I was like, I didn't even know you paid attention to me bitching. And and
Well, how can she? You're loud enough that, I mean,
so in the end, that's where it all, and it was COVID.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to college. So he was online.
Yep.
Our youngest was online. It made it really easy, and COVID was horrible to a million or more people. But
Yep.
it helped us because we could, move on or move down there without really upsetting the apple cart at all because
Sure.
they were online.
Yep.
And she wanted to be closer to her mom. So I get it.
Yep. Yeah. And now, do you both work from home? I mean, are you both like working online too? So I mean, it's like the best of all worlds.
It is, and it's. I work out. She gets the office,
Okay.
and I'm fine with that. I work out on the lanai, and when I don't have any work going on, the dogs and I jump on the pool, and he goes swimming, and so I mean, yeah, I love around the dirt track is amazing. Hanging out by a pool is pretty damn amazing
Pretty
too.
damn amazing too. Now, I think when I ran into you or called you, I don't know if I saw you face to face last year. I talked to Torey a few times at the track, but I kind of got the vibe, or maybe you even told me that you don't want to be at the track when you're here because, and I get it. I mean, I totally get it. Tommy Corcoran says the same thing all the time. It's like when I'm done, I don't want to be there, and it's like, you know what? It's just not that they only want to see your car and you, but it's you as a human, you as a person. I mean, when I ran into Mike Balkin, last year when all of a sudden he just showed up one day, I mean, I was thrilled just to get to talk to him. It was like I forgot about the race thing, and that's kind of how some of us look at it. I'm guessing if you did show up and you were in the stands, you wouldn't be able to watch a race because people probably wouldn't leave you alone.
Well, I would hope. I'm a people person.
Mm-hmm,
I would
right.
hope that people like me enough that they would just want to come hang out. But I couldn't just go watch. I'd like to watch the other classes, but for me to go in and Tor and Casey Gajewski, who you mentioned, and I were having beers last week sometime. And
last Thursday.
And Casey kind of said to me, he goes, I thought you were kind of a snot by not going back to the track until he quit fighting.
Yep.
And he said, then I realized you just can't go back.
Right.
Because you can look at it and go, and you'll critique everything, first of all.
Yep.
And you're better than all the rest of these guys in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
But it's still the fact that now all of a sudden you get the itch. And don't get me wrong, we've done some racing in Florida. We still have stuff. But to do it at River Cities, or one of the tracks where I grew up at,
Yep.
I would just expect, in my mind, I'd go, I got to get back out there. And that's just not going to happen.
Right.
Our stuff's down there. It doesn't get used a lot. You'd have to bring it all back. We're only here for 2 months. You couldn't run the full season. Nobody's going to want to support that as far as sponsors go. I know Jeremy Ekman would probably help me out, but, to do it half-ass.
Right.
There's too many of them doing it half-ass as it is, and that's I don't want to be a tow money Tom where
27 hours to haul the whole works up here and all
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and
so.
you're up here on vacation. I mean, kind of, you know. I mean, how many people come from Florida to Minnesota to be on vacation?
To vacation, yeah.
And even for me, like, you know, I drive past where we used to park every Friday, and it's like, damn it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I know we can still be out there, but the car's
Yep.
2,000 miles the other direction, and it's like, mother.
You can say it if you want. Nobody's going to say anything.
But yeah, it's hard, but it's trying to get easier.
Sure.
I don't know how it's going to get easier, but
Yep.
it is hard.
It was the same. I know when I quit playing softball, I couldn't go out to a softball diamond. I didn't, you know, and then I discovered the fishing league, and that's a whole new deal. But Dan Wisco says Bob was always a great competitor and even better dude in the pits. Always helpful and insightful. Thanks for your part in our great sport. I'm sure you and Torey are making the most of things in Florida. Keep up the good work, Bob. Dan Wisco, who is now the announcer at Greenbush up there.
which
So,
I had just found out like last week.
yep.
Because him and I got to be pretty decent buddies.
Yep.
And I'd try to help
Good
him
guy.
out when he's a very good guy. And then he fell off the face of the earth, and I just wondered what he was up to. And then I saw that he's the announcer, and I thought that was so great that he came back to the track.
Yep.
He's involved, and you know, someday maybe I'll get to that point, but it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Right.
And I'm glad for Dan because good guy.
You know, it's a way to stick around the sport without having to, and you know, you're guaranteed a check every night.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's another thing.
Yep.
He was number 7, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I am going to say this, Bob, before we keep rolling with the show here, because I can't believe we're already this deep into it. But one of the first times I've ever seen you without a tank top on. But I do like the shirt you're wearing, long time running, the Tragically Hip. I'm going to give you a round of applause for the hip because I love them.
That couldn't have worked out any better with running down a dream on the back of the jacket, and he's wearing long time running on the other side.
That was just, it was like it was meant
almost
to be.
like we planned it. But,
Yep.
you know.
Yep. And then the problem is we don't talk enough to plan it.
It was right.
Right. Are you going to be in the races Friday?
I was supposed to be the last week, but I got too drunk and hungover. So
Okay, that happens. I was at a wedding last week, so I missed it anyway. So
I'll be there tomorrow.
okay, good.
You know what I love the most about him? It's just total honesty. You'd ever get an ounce of bullshit from him. So,
Well, 98% of it is bullshit, honestly.
but it's
98%.
honest.
It's the other two. Yep. How did you get your start racing?
My ex-brother-in-law now, he used to pit for Butch Scarry, Scarry Radiator,
Okay. Yep.
and they would bring me to the track, and I'd be in the pits.
Now was that Lyle?
No,
Oh.
that was my brother-in-law ex-brother-in-law who lives in Florida now.
Oh, okay.
Doug Merrill.
Oh, sure. Okay.
And he would bring me there, but they're racing late models and they're sprint cars, and I had no interest in late models, and I just got fascinated with sprint cars when I was watching them. And it just grew from there, and I just, for some reason in my mind, I was going to go sprint car racing, and I was only probably 10 or 11. And I thought for sure that was the way it was going to work. And
You made the right choice.
yeah, I started out in bodied cars when I lived in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, but it was just me. I didn't have a pit crew because I had moved there to work aviation. And then when I moved back here, that's when I got into the sprint cars, and I had my buddies around, and it was, it was a fun, so much fun, and that's how I got into the sprint car side of it. Bought a car from a guy in Fargo. It was just pieces of like a 1982 Bobby Allen car.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's where we spent, I got to know another guy who happened to be kind of friends with Steven's dad. And so we moved the car to Steven's garage, and that's where we would do the Pee Wee Herman dance.
Okay.
And that's where, his nickname was Simpson.
Oh,
There was a brand new cartoon on the TV back in those days.
yeah.
That, you know,
that was a long time ago. Yeah.
So that's where it all started, and it progressed from there.
By the way, somebody had said they weren't getting us on Facebook. Try it again. I don't know what happened there for a few of you, but I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, it's looking good on my end. Just, close Facebook, reload it, refresh it if people can pass that along. If you're still having trouble, you can also go to youtube.com/GFBS Dirty Thursday. Great alternate way to watch the show. Subscribe to it on YouTube to get alerts for whenever the show goes live.
Okay, thank you very much. We have got a ton of pictures that we are going to go through, but we're going to do that after we take a short little break. We'll be back with Dirty Thursday, brought to you by River City Speedway. Life doesn't ever seem to slow down. Everything needs to be done right now. Well, when it comes time for an oil change, stop into Valvoline Instant Oil Change. You know, most changes are done in about 15 minutes. Valvoline Instant Oil Change does more too. Tranny and coolant flushes, tire rotations, and batteries. And included in your oil change, they're going to top off your fluids, check your tires, battery, lights, wipers, and cabin air filter too. And you get discounts for fleets and the military. You know, they can text and email invoices and coupons and mention Grand Forks Best Source and get $10 off your oil change. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. They're open Monday through Saturday with no appointment needed. Pickup and delivery is also available if you live in Grand Forks. And Valvoline Instant Oil Change is now hiring. If you'd like to join their team as an assistant manager, customer service rep, or lube tech, stop in to find out more. Valvoline Instant Oil Change. For a complete oil change and more, they're at 3325 South 38th Street, or call them 701-780-8462. And make sure you tell them Grand Forks Best Source sent you. All right, here we go. Dirty Thursday brought to you by River City Speedway. Chad Hoff, I made it and get to see some awesome people. Thank you very much, Chad. I think he's talking about you, Stephen.
Yeah, well, I don't know, maybe.
There we go. I
Big shout out to Chad for helping Amanda out and during their Medora trip there.
Yeah,
So,
what a coincidence that was, huh?
Yeah, and I know he's bailed me out before, too, coming back from Iowa. And he's able to get Northwest Tire and Mapleton to get me some rubber to get me back, too. So it's,
all of a sudden, they're just in a random gas station, and there's Chad Hoff.
Yeah, right.
I mean, what are the odds of that?
The wrong one. They missed an exit and went to the next one, and just wild to think about.
That is crazy how
what
that
is
worked
he
out.
doing now, by the way?
He took over the Northwest Tire in Dickinson.
It's,
Okay.
I think, the biggest one.
The biggest
that
one.
they have. And
it's closer to his hometown,
Right.
which is Glendive, Montana.
Okay.
yeah,
So
when he took the job here, he had pretty much told them, hopefully I'm getting this right, Chad, that he didn't plan on staying here forever. And they were totally good with that. And then when the job opened up there, because I think his wife is from that area too, so it's like an hour from their house or from where they're from. So I think it was a good thing. Still, we miss him. I miss the other half of the Bull Ring boys. Boy, it'd be fun if he could come up here one weekend and we could do a gig together. I would have a blast.
I would like to say that Gary's doing a pretty good job. I watched him taking notes and stuff, and he's doing a pretty good job down there.
Yeah, he's getting there. And I've only had 2 races under my
Right.
belt today this year, so.
Right.
Yeah, Gary did his first redraw last Friday there. It was a blast. Yeah, and big night of races. There was great filling in there again. And I gave him a quick crash course. I'm like, I can help you if you want. He said he got it, and got through it really good.
All right, and Brina did a great job. I saw the interview with Dustin Strand, so we're probably going to be seeing her more of with the microphone in her hand too. I heard she's got like a bedazzled one coming on order or something. But Chad says, "You tell me what weekend, bud. Let's make it happen. You pick one, dude. Just don't make it the Outlaws, or we'll never get to talk." How about we do this? Let's start showing some pictures. And you guys, you can look there or there and see what's going on. And let's just talk about what some of these are.
Holy shit, I've never seen that picture.
How did you guys even find that?
Okay, so
Wow.
I've got question marks up there because I had no idea about this until Mike acquired some stuff from the old Inside Track newspaper, the old originals or whatever.
Yep.
And I'm going through, and it's Bemidji, so I don't know who any of these guys are. And I went to looking at that face and looking at that number. I was like,
That's
Am
freaking Bobby Martin.
am I seeing this right? Because I thought it all started here.
Oh,
But
I am amazed with Mike Speaker that he has that and that you found it, because I didn't think I had. That was considered a late model, which it was more of a.
I think it's a piece of shit.
It was more of a street stock type thing, but that was my start. I moved to Grand Rapids to work on airplanes, and the closest track they have one in Grand Rapids, but they only ran modifieds, and they ran late models on Sundays. So that was considered a late model. I had a lot of fun, but it was a one-man show, and bending tin every night, and it lasted about a year and a half, and then I was tired out, and I am a sprint car guy, and I like watch late models, I really do. But,
Sure.
But I'm a sprint car guy, so I was like, this isn't really working out.
Tammy Joe says might be the last time Bob wore jeans. in that picture.
Hold up. I think we got another one here.
I wanted to ask this. Is Bobby Derrick? What is that? Is that your middle name or what?
No, Bobby Derrick is a buddy of mine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just got a text and they said Bobby Derrick.
Yeah, it's I played hockey with him
Okay.
growing up, and even in beer league I played with him for a
Okay.
while.
All right. That's how that was. All right. Yeah, that's another pair of jeans.
I have only had this picture for about 6 weeks, and thanks to Ryan Flayton for it. He came over to pick something up, and he was like, I found a bunch of mall shots from, I think, 1990, and I went, let me know as soon as you possibly can if you have it. So the next day he sent me this, and I was like, you've got to be kidding.
You know what? I think that is our studio to the far right in that picture.
So...
Yes, that would be your studio.
Yeah, that is. Look at that. Wow.
Is that me in the
This was just before you,
Yeah.
Oh, 1990, yeah.
because you're a 91, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
All right. Cool, man.
Yeah, that was, what we did there. This is in Steven's garage. His dad and a guy named Bud Mankey who bought the engine for me. And my buddies, it was for the car show. And you could win a plaque or something like that. We were going to win it. And we were up to like 3 or 4 putting it up. We took a nap, loaded it up at 6 in the morning. They said it had to be in perfectly clean when it comes in. Well, it started snowing. And we got it in there, everything. And I think we kind of left and went home and took naps or whatever. And came back, and Sam Broughton had beat me in it. And we were so disgusted that
Sammy.
we worked that hard, and he ended up winning. But so, yeah, that's...
I was wondering if you were going to say who won it, because I remember from the stories who won it. So
well, we were beside ourselves just because we spent so much time.
Like this one, the Valandry 10, running down a dream.
But this is still my favorite car
Yeah.
of all time.
And this was before the T was there, of course, because T hadn't been born yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Sharp-looking car.
Oh, goodness.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah, that...
I think we have a picture of that up in the house somewhere.
Yeah, we do, and that was all done by hand by Roger Cernsky. Remember
He
him?
was still, okay. Yep.
God, was he amazing?
No kidding. Wow.
He did that whole thing by hand.
Wait, so
Yeah.
he did all the...
All the lettering.
That is crazy.
So
Well, he
I
didn't
don't
do
know.
all the lettering, I guess. But he did do the Berry Best cakes and pastries.
Yep.
Oh man, shout out to that place. That was my old post-church coffee stop for the longest time.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, and he did all that by hand. He'd take this charcoal bag, and I don't know, it was just amazing. And to crush that wing, probably crushed his heart because he spent a lot of time on it.
Yeah. By the way, Casey says, was kind of hoping this was just audio so we didn't have to see Torey's ugly mug.
Hey, shut up, you piece of shit.
So Tom Corcoran's car this year is a throwback to one that Roger painted for
Yeah.
him.
Oh, is that
So,
right?
Yep.
And here we go, 1990. We can just keep rolling through these. Oh, there's one I had to get a Torey.
Oh,
There.
dear.
I was also really...
That was one of Casey's adventures with Thor.
I was also really drunk during that too, so yeah.
Hey, it looks
No-
like you were
no
having
way.
fun. That's
Really?
all that matters, man. You were having fun.
I like my alcohol, Steven. Leave me alone.
Well, look at us. You stayed with the red car for quite a while.
Red's my favorite color.
Yep.
And I wanted to stay red most of the time, but every once in a while we started messing with stuff or
Sure.
got some free paint or something. So then we went blue. We had white for a while.
Black.
Went black.
Black
Yep.
1 year.
There you go with the blue one.
Yep, them are all the same cars. They're I bought those from Lou Kennedy.
Okay.
Ended up with 2 of them, and then Wayne sold me. Wayne Anderson was a godsend to me. He sold me 2 Maxims. They were moving on to, I think, Wolfwelds, and he sold me 2 Maxims. The back of the cars were called stack slant tube, torsion tubes.
Yep.
They were stacked on top of each other. One was slanted to the left, the other car was slanted to the right. And we had good success with them, but it was just strange that they were stacked. Tubes are stacked like that.
You have something against purple?
Yes.
Because I see a little purple, it looks like, on that car. The Tammy says you can't believe Bob allowed purple on the car.
That on that blue car, that's just things you don't want to talk about, and it would take a lot of beers to say why I don't like the color purple.
Well, I can tell you.
Yeah, Tor could tell you, but like I said, it'd take a lot of beers.
It's because of my mom.
Okay.
We'll just leave it at that.
All right. 1994, another, again, changing colors.
Yeah, another same Kennedy car, 360. We didn't get a 410 for at least the first 10 years.
Oh, wow, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we just couldn't put together enough money. And,
Sure.
And I'm as blue collar as it gets, so it was 360s or nothing.
Yep.
Around 360.
And I think the 360 you put together, right? Or
1 year we did.
Okay.
Bud
Something like
Mankey and I did.
So that's 2 years in a row now, 2 different colored cars with Tammy Joe on the car,
Yeah.
which is pretty neat.
Tammy's dad, Don Partlow.
Yep.
Whitest collar you could get out of a guy. He was an accountant, and I'm very blue collar. But
Sure.
he took a liking to me because it was an East Side thing, and we crashed one night. And the very next Saturday morning, we took the car completely apart because it was a big crash. And he came out to where the car was being worked on, out at Lyle Carlson's, my sister's place.
Yep.
And he just introduced himself out of the blue, and he goes, "How bad was it?" And I said, "Well, it's really bad. In fact, we put the tail tank in the trailer to hope that the heat will expand it out."
Yep.
And he said, "Come by my office next week. I want to talk to you." And he did, or I did, and he handed me a check, and we're friends ever since.
Wow. That's a great story. All right. Moving on. There we go. And you know,
Oh, shoot, there it is.
you don't forget those stories either. Wow.
There's Butcher's Hockey.
Yep, there's.
Oh,
Butcher's
sure.
Hockey.
There it is. Wow. Look at that.
And that was in Wayne's cars that he sold to me.
Okay.
And
Now we're getting a little bit newer stuff here. Well, latter stuff.
that is a car that, boy, I could tell you stories about that adventure. That's a Dan Motter car. And when Dan was getting out of it in like 2016, Jeremy Ekman had a thing for Joey Saldana. And
Yeah.
Saldana had drove him. And he said, "We got to get one of their cars. He's got 3 of them." We took a bunch of beer, drove to Pengilly, Minnesota,
Yep.
and he was a complete mess when we got there.
He was a messy drinker too then.
Yeah, and he'll tell you that.
Oh, I know he will.
He's honest.
Oh, you're damn right. He's a great guy. I've known him for a long
Yeah.
time too. So,
And he drunk off his ass, and he just started buying. He said, "Pick which one you want." And then, and Dan Motter, more money than God. He there was lofts of stuff, and we just would bring down. I had my guys with me, and we'd bring down stuff, and Dan would say, "Yeah, I'll sell that," and that would go, "Put on my tab," and and we left with. In fact, we had to make another trip later on. Eck actually went and picked up more stuff. We didn't have enough room for everything. It was amazing. And he's always been good to me. Really
Oh,
good.
yeah.
To me.
I mean, he's been on your car. He was on your car forever.
Yeah, and Dan Mott was really good to us.
Yep. And, it's good to see he's still involved with sprint car racing, too.
Yep.
Eck is. Okay.
That was one of those trips where I think if he said, "I'll give you a blank check," we probably would have walked away with all three of them. But
Yeah.
Yeah, we just didn't have enough. We didn't have big enough trailer to take everything.
yeah.
And actually, I don't have any pictures of him, but we will have a picture coming up of Mandy, his wife. You'll see that soon. All right, let's keep rolling here. We got a ways to go yet, so
That picture's hanging up in the house.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
That was in Greenbush. We won that night, if I remember right. Or that might have been Hallock.
This one's Hallock.
Yeah,
I think.
that looks, yeah.
And we won that night. Yeah, so
That's when it started to roll, kind of on the NOSA end of things.
That was probably my
Back-
favorite car right
Back
there.
to red.
Just because of
I love when he went back to red that year.
just because of the flames. I was a big flame kid back.
Yeah, that looks pretty cool. That
Yeah.
does look really cool.
Seeing some of these sponsors we have for businesses that are no longer with us, it's just bringing back all kinds of nostalgia right
Oh,
now.
absolutely.
See Columbia Liquor, Big Daddy's,
Whitey's, Miller's True Value. Wow.
Yeah, John Miller. I went to school with him, and I was just in there getting something. We talked, life, and next thing you know, he says, "Need some help on the car?" I'm like, "Sure."
Always.
So
Yeah.
Never turned out help.
Nice. Oh,
Ooh.
There's my lovely wife and Tor.
1 second here. Let me get this.
he'll flip it for us here.
Wait. Was that on the Trazing or was that on the actual?
That was on the
four-wheeler.
four-wheeler.
There we go.
There we go.
Boy, that's an oldie.
That was
Yeah.
it's a Goldie. It's a Goldie
Yeah.
and an oldie.
Yep. I like that when the Budweiser stuff started going on there.
Yeah.
Those synced up nice.
It's funny. That's 2001. You think about how long ago that was already. And it
That-
just seems like it was yesterday to me.
That was the first sweatshirt I wasn't allowed to wear to school.
It was the Budweiser.
No beer, no
Yeah.
cigarettes,
Yeah.
no Big Johnson.
So
come
no
on,
Big
dude.
Johnson.
When
Jeez.
I was in school, we used to have these pit crew shirts, and they had Budweiser plastered all over them.
Mm-hmm.
And Nelson told me to take it off, and I basically told him to go.
You mean Bruce?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Bruce. I'll have to give him shit about that one.
Bruce told him he had to get rid of that shirt, and
Yeah.
Tor said no. And
I was just with him last night.
but if you look right there, see that white block just behind the left front wheel.
Yep. Yep.
That was when I got my first 410.
Okay.
And with the 410s, you had to run 60 pounds of weight.
Oh, sure.
So I had 30 pounds on each side.
Because it was the limited class, right?
No, it
Or-
was 360s could be lighter than the 410s.
Yep.
So
Oh yeah.
you had to add 60 pounds. And
Wow.
yeah, it's
Travis Strandell says, I'm pretty positive I have every sprint car picture of Bob's cars from his start until now. I think you got a fan there with Travis Strandell.
yeah.
Oh, back
There we go.
Back in that must have been Darlene's deal.
Yes, it was
Darlene's,
Team
yep.
Race Cancer. I emceed those things. And there you go. Talking about Ekman, there's Mandy Ekman and Bob, and you were pretty hot.
I got to tell you, I have my three sisters were there, and when I was dressed like a girl, I looked a lot like them three. So but I never thought that until they dressed me up like a girl, and I was like, wow.
Sweet Tarts, Tammy says, well, I can remember Mitch Mack. And I tell you what, I know guys, if they would have been drunk enough, they would have hit on that.
I actually did that one year.
You hit on one
Mitch? Oh,
No. The cancer.
Yep.
Yeah. And once again, I was plastered to all hell, and that was the only way I could get through it.
I grew my hair and my beard for that 1 year, and we auctioned it off. Somebody could give me a haircut. And I was thinking if I'm lucky, it'd raise $100 or a couple $100. It ended up raising a bunch of money, but if I remember right, Ryan Grindy actually won the bid. And I was so worried that he was going to shave like a penis on the top of my head because I told him I'd wear it for a week, and he didn't. They just gave me a mohawk, and that was it. But thank you, Ryan Grindy, for doing that. All right, let's keep rolling here. We still got a lot of show to go through. So
that picture was when I was probably on my way out. This was going to be probably my last year. I just had no funding and apparently wasn't having much fun, I guess. And then, I don't know, we kind of stumbled along a little longer. And then when Eck got on board, it, then things
changed.
We got back to really rolling better, I guess.
When you don't have all the worries about it, it makes a big difference. Like funding and money and time and all of that stuff. I think this is a great picture. Even though you can't really tell who it is, but we know.
Yeah, that's Devil's Lake, and I was having an engine problem, and Tor came up to console me, and I'm sure I still threw a wrench or something because I was pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
But
kind of foreshadowing too. He got Brodix's name in the background too. So
yeah, you're right. I'll have to point that one out to him.
Chad Hoff just said, still to this day, I remember his win at the bull ring. That was and is still the best victory lanes I've ever done, in the straight emotion and all the hugs, man, engraved my mind forever. And that was the one where you were hoping I was going to run down there, and I didn't even think of it till it was done. And I ran into you in the pits the next week, and you're like, damn, dude.
Yeah, I was really expecting you, and it was one of the first times I got to, that I think Chad, it's probably the only time Chad interviewed me. I met him here, and then he interviewed me.
Yeah.
And we had a great time, and I told the crowd, I said, I have 90 bush lights at my trailer.
Yep.
And we're going to celebrate. And so that was definitely one of the, I guess, because it had been so long.
Yeah, yeah.
One of the best victories as far as just emotional.
And I wish we had the playback, because I remember calling that race, and I remember I was as jacked up as you were as far as emotion-wise goes, because I knew it had been a while.
We don't have the call, but I watch it on the Flying Hawaiians every once in a while.
Sure.
Go back and watch it back. So
We stayed up till 5 a.m. the next morning.
Oh, I believe it.
oh yeah, Mom came and got me.
Yeah.
Then she got to see you, which was good. So that was all good. So
All right, we're still rolling along.
I can't believe I don't have a better one of this one, but I like the silver car too.
I do too, and that's when Eck came on board, and I keep referring to Eck because he really jump-started me at this point, because I was about done. And
And by the way, it's Jeremy Eckman, if you guys are wondering who Eck is, if you might not know, but yeah.
And he just, this is another drinking story. I didn't know he only lived like 5 houses from me, and he came down, knocked on the garage door, the big door. So, and it was, I don't know, late August. I let him in through the walk-in door, and he had a bag in his hand, a bag of beer, and that's how this all kind of started, and he just wanted to sit in the car. That's all he really wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is where it ends up, you know?
Well, wasn't your first interaction with him at Gateway Sports with his silver?
Oh, yes, you're right.
His silver Porsche or whatever it was.
Yeah, he had a silver Mercedes, really nice car.
Sure.
And my son was racing go-karts. We went then. We're going to go to Fargo to the go-kart track, Glendon to the go-kart track on a Saturday. We went just to get some stuff to go to drive to Glendon, and he was buddies with the guy who owned Gateway Sports. There's this beautiful Mercedes, silver Mercedes in front, and my race and I are looking at it like, wow, is this nice? Well, he looks, I go in, and he's there, and he goes, hey, I was in your pit last night. And he said his name. And I go, cool. He goes, want to take my car for a ride? I mean, this was like the second sentence he'd ever said to me. And it's this $95,000 Mercedes. And I'm like, no, I'd love to, but I'm not going to.
I don't want to wreck it.
Well, I was, exactly. So,
I just got a picture sent to me by Timmy Schwantz, Butcher Hockey, Grand Forks. It's the back, the old jackets. It's kind of late to get it on the show. I wish we'd have had that earlier. All right, boy, we're getting there now. 2008, 2009.
yeah.
Title car.
Yeah, I think we won the title with that. We had
Oh, sure. Yeah, you did.
we actually put two together over the winter. Two complete cars we had, and I took out the front stretch fencing one night, and we brought down the second car. And right next to where we parked, the parts guy was next to us, and Nick Sherrick came over, and he said, "Man, sorry about the crash, especially since you're leading the points." And I'm like, "Huh?"
Yeah.
And I didn't even know I was leading the points until Nick told me.
This was still early June. Like the Penguins won that same night, and we had a transformer go out in the pits. It was just a wild
It was
night, but
yeah, and I didn't help it by taking down the front stretch.
yeah,
It was a late night.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's another classic. Look at that.
I don't know what the hell I was looking at there, but
I don't know either who.
Is Gajewski standing there holding a twisted tea or what?
nah.
Some hot chick.
Yeah, that was some fun times there. We were running Goodyears then, though I struggled.
Oh, that's right.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I struggled to find the balance with Goodyears, and
I think everyone did.
Yeah, you're right.
I was gonna say I think everyone did. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, there's a good one. How about that one?
yeah, that was our Halloween pictures over at Wade Holtman's.
Oh, sure. Holtman Trucking. He was on your car for a long time also.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is the Brian Busick era.
Yeah, I sold my stuff. I sold a lot of my stuff, and Brian asked me to drive for him, and he's a buddy of mine out of West Fargo or out of Fargo, and so I drove for him, but the car stayed in Fargo, and we really didn't have a lot of. I need to interact with the car if I'm going to feel good in it. And Brian had his own way of setting things up, and that was fine with me. And he'd won a lot of races with Sam and Sam Broughton and stuff like that, Austin.
Munson.
And so we had an era there together for a couple of years.
He also didn't like driving for Brian because he was always afraid to wreck the car, and which is understandable because if you wreck it, you got to put it back or pay the guy to put it back together. So it's
Right.
I always call this the Van Der Recken car. That's for all you nerds out there that watch
there you go.
Knoxville. But
Yeah.
That was in Brian's car again.
yeah,
Sweet looking car.
Yeah, those white frames were my favorite.
I bet we'll hear from Travis now. Like I think that was Travis's first car.
Yeah, he ended up with one of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, you've got 3 boys,
Yep.
and that's the youngest one right there.
That's Brodix.
Okay.
That's where the TRB after the 10 comes from. So
And it's funny how that changes. Like Dobmeyer was 13, then he was 13, J, and then 13 JT, and the same with you with a 10, and then a 10T, and then he keeps adding on and on and on.
Yeah, well, he shouldn't be copying me like that.
No, I know.
I
Lucky he didn't
didn't.
name his kids the same names.
I didn't copy him by winning this much. So,
You did your part.
yeah, exactly.
well, you did steal one back from him there that one night. So
Well, that was the emotional one with Chad Hoff.
No,
start 11th and catfish around the bottom. So
is this Knoxville? Or I'm a little late
no,
there.
this
There must
is
have been the
here.
last one. Okay.
This is here. Yep.
Also, Heather says, think how mad the drivers are when they wreck a fence because they have work to do. Well, the promoters have to too, and then the track people, and sucks.
Yep, and I felt horrible because a 2x4 fell and hit a couple guys.
Yeah,
that were
it
in
was
wheelchairs.
Yeah.
Well, I can remember the first time they ran buses. It was during the fair, and I was down on the stage doing the play-by-play with a cordless mic, and they come around turn 4 wide, and that's when Don Mack hit the wall, and one of those big posts, it sheared off and shot it across the stage, and I took off running, and it just missed me, and I just looked up at the crowd, and I pretended I was emptying my shorts. It just came to me, and everybody laughed, but scared the shit out of me. Yeah. All right. Tammy Joe says,
There it is.
Some random guy from Eldora approached Bob at Knoxville and said, "Oh, I've heard about you. You're the guy that only wears tank tops."
Yeah, that was very surprising. Put it that way. I was like, huh? And I guess it's not the stigma of the wins. I guess it's the tank tops.
It's the man.
You got to have a stigma.
It's the man. There you go. Okay, this is one that Chad was talking about. I'm guessing, isn't it?
This is
This is it.
Yep.
this is the winning Grand Forks.
August 23rd, 2019.
Wow, that's a great picture there.
That's our
Governor Cup.
governor's cup
Hello,
win.
Governor.
Yeah. Yeah. Torch chair was out of battery, so they had to push him.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
we've
To
we've
there.
synced up again.
Have
here.
you ever known anybody more bow-legged than John?
No, God, no. But every time I see one, somebody even close, I just kind of snicker because, you could drive a bus through those legs.
Oh, I know. And we're not holding that against you, John, by any chance. You went from Budweiser to Busch Light.
Yes. Which,
I like myself, but
that was straight from Budweiser.
Wow.
They wanted to, Bud Light was hockey. Budweiser was cup racing type stuff.
Yep.
And they wanted to go Busch Light because they felt it was more grassroots.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, I drink some of it.
Yeah, once in a
So-
while, I've had a couple.
So I said, I'm perfectly fine with
Yeah,
that.
and now River City Speedway has got Busch Light. They have for the last couple of years, which is, I know they sell a lot of it too. So
I want to say that McKinnon did the same thing with Miller because
Wh-
he was Miller Light and then he
Yep.
was MGD. So
Which is surprising because for a while the track wouldn't sell.
yeah, all you could get was
Right.
Miller products or
Well, they were mad
and
at
Coors.
Wayne was mad at him
Yeah.
because they took his trucking away, and Randy Kiefer from Budweiser said to him, Wayne, this comes from corporate, not us.
Not us.
And Wayne held it against him, which
For a long time.
Long time.
Yep.
Last one here.
Okay, last pick.
this is in Florida.
Oh, wow.
I think
Okay.
this was November 30th, and then you raced on December 7th. So I was out on a party bus trying to watch you, and
Oh, is that right?
so yeah.
Yeah, this
This was at Volusia Speedway.
Oh, wow. Okay.
we ran November at Volusia and December at a place called Alltech.
Alltech. Yep.
Now, is the dirt down there way different than it is up here?
Yes.
It's
Like night and day?
It's
Night-
a lot more sandy.
it's fun.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's super sandy.
Yeah.
But you almost have to sandblast it off when you go to the car wash.
Oh, I bet.
It's just crazy how it'll be on there
Sticks.
for days. I mean,
Yeah.
even after you wash it, and I was never great at doing the wash
Mm-hmm.
jobs, but you could still pick at it and find it, and you'd think it would just blow right off like dust
Yeah.
does, or sand does, but no, this stuff's,
Wow.
but it's tough. And at East Bay is closed now, but they used it was so close to the ocean that if the tide was coming in, the track would get soupier,
Oh, sure.
and if the tide was moving out,
It'd get
track
dry.
would get drier.
Yeah.
Tammy just texted saying you have to watch the tides to race at East Bay, and then you started talking about it right
And then
after
I was
she-
gonna say it too because
Yeah.
East Bay was 7 foot below sea level. I was there the
Right.
first night I was there. I was like, boy, this is gonna slick off and dry off quick. And then someone local was just like, no, wait a minute. And it got wetter and wetter as the night went on. And I went, all right, I really am nowhere near home. Like that.
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense.
It's- It's
Yeah.
it's unfortunate that it had to shut down because
Oh yeah.
East Bay,
It's terrible.
East Bay is one of the more iconic sprint car tracks in
Oh, for sure.
in Florida, other than Volusia, because the World Outlaws own it now. So
I kind of hate to say it. There's not a lot of favorites that I got to see when I was on the road or whatever. East Bay was one of them. Like
Okay.
I would have loved to have gone back there, but
We saw the NOSA championship car. You won the NOSA championship in 2009, 26 NOSA wins, making you 8th all time on that list, which has got some pretty damn good drivers in it. And we were talking, and I couldn't find, and I don't know, we were trying to figure out how many total wins that you have or have had already.
I think it's 77.
Okay. I mean, those numbers aren't too shabby. Did you have a favorite best moment in a race car?
I guess it would probably be, we keep talking about my last victory here. And another one would probably be the Governor's Cup.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
But then back in 2000, mid-2000 sometime. Wayne Anderson put on what was called the NOSA Challenge.
Yep.
It paid like $2,500 to win. You got a free top wing, some other items, and then he had a big barbecue afterwards, and he fed everybody, and that was a really huge win for back in the day. And then at the time, John Eglin, who was my crew chief for a long time, he was actually driving his own car.
Yep.
He stopped right next to me, got out, and gave me this giant hug at the front on the front stretch.
Yep.
Even though we were competitors at the time, that's one thing I probably won't ever forget. Is
Sure.
And it was a big win. And
Yep.
then Wayne kind of thought that would progress to be an annual thing, and it's the only one they had.
Wow.
So I guess I got that to hang my hat on.
Was that one that they piggybacked and did Minot off the back of it too, or was
No,
that just a one-off?
That
here?
was just a one-off.
Okay.
But they did do the Minot
It would have been that era,
a little
though.
challenge
Yeah.
deal type there too.
Wasn't the Minot one where we lost brakes and you ended up in a ditch?
No. The Grand Forks Minot Challenge, I won Grand Forks. So going to Minot, I was leading the points because it was a 2 or 3 day points thing. And I was leading the feature in Minot on the white flag, and I was running out of fuel. And yellow came out.
Oh, no.
Restart, I took off, and I was out of fuel by the first corner, and Kennedy I didn't finish. I think Kennedy won it, but anyway, that was a heartbreaker.
Now, I asked you your best moment. Do you have a worst moment on the track?
Probably when I took the fence down.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know this at the time. I was just obviously very upset with myself. Well, I started in the back. Back then they had the point average thing.
Yep.
Handicap us.
So we were handicapped to the back, and I started like 8th, and you got to progress to wherever. And everybody was way on the bottom at the start. So I'm like, I'm going around the top.
Mm-hmm.
And, 50 feet before the flag stand, the 35 car just decided to do a hard right turn going down the straightaway. And it was my bad, but I got by him with the front end, and my left rear caught his right rear, and that's when I just took down so much of the fencing, and then I really wanted to go over and chew his ass because I just was like, why are you taking a right turn on the straightaway? But it is what it is. It was over. So
if I've got this right now, you could fast forward a couple of years after that, or maybe it was before that. Kind of the same thing happened in Greenbush, but vice versa.
Exactly.
At the start-finish line there.
Exactly.
Because we were sitting on that little grandstand, and here come the 35, flew right over us.
Yep. Yeah, he ended up on the other side of the fence.
Yep.
But the thing is, the race was over, and he kept racing.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
And I had won that night, and he just drove over my right rear, and I'm doing on the cool-down lap. And then he brought over this giant guy, and they were going to beat the crap out of us.
I was helping him on that car at that time.
Oh, were you
and
really?
I know I wasn't the giant guy, but that's the first time I ever met John Eglin.
Oh, well, I'm holding Torey, and Egg. We had a plan, because they had whoever this giant guy was. How many guys are going to have to tackle this guy if this happens? Type of thing. And he came over, the 35, Brandon Wild. He was yelling at me, and I'm like, man, we're on the cool down lap. I was trying to explain myself, but he was really upset, and I get it because his car was on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
But this giant guy didn't say a thing, just stood there, and when they turned around and walked away, we all wiped our brows and grabbed a beer and moved on.
I can still remember John Eglin saying, well, we don't have mirrors on these cars. And somebody, I don't know if it was Brendan, saying, well, maybe you should. And that was about it. There was a little bit of finger pointing and this and that. And then, we just kind of both went and turned. And, because I was part of that camp then because I was at that time helping his brother Brian with the A-Mod. And so we were always up in Greenbush anyway. And then you guys happened to be up there. And
I was about to say, would that even have been the 35 car, or would he have been the 4 then?
No, I think it was 35. I think it was the 35. Yeah.
Okay.
35.
Okay. Wow.
I was trying to remember if I remember that wreck or not. But
yeah. And now Florida, things are good. You kick back. And life is a lot easier now.
Yeah, well, it's a double-edged sword because when I was here, I was racing, I was skating, and I always wanted to stay as fit as I could. One thing to help out Tor and just to stay alive. And down there, I don't skate, I don't race much. I hang out by the pool and
Drank a lot of beer.
drink beer.
Still doing your curls.
Yep, you got that right. And I throw a lot of tennis balls to the dogs. But the weather is.
You can't beat it.
I get so tired of the winters.
Yeah.
You'd go to the rink when all you had in the winter was the rink, and you got pretty pissed off that you had to go into the horrible weather to get to the rink. That's when you kind of knew it was just not much fun anymore. And then, like I said earlier, Tammy said she heard me bitching enough where she goes, "Hey, I found a place in Florida." And I'm like, I didn't even think you were paying attention.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, we're there. So
Well, it's obvious she pays attention because she says, let's not forget about Orchard Oil Night when Bob got some retribution after a car took him out. Got a 2-race ban from that one.
yeah. Well, and she's a lot smarter than me, so she's getting her memory's a lot better. So,
Yeah.
so honestly, some of the things that are coming up and people are bringing up,
Was
I'm
that
still having to.
Cap or was it someone else? I'm not going to mention.
It was
More local.
Austin Pierce.
Okay.
Nope. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
I don't usually, when I worked here, get on the receiver, but I remember where you were going, and I jumped on, and I went, nope, nope. And I went,
Well,
shoot.
Well, Mike Witherall, him and I have been buddies for a long time, and he goes, Bob, you shouldn't have done that. You got to get off the track now. And he was just very, you could tell he was down that I made that decision. But I got to be honest, and then this is 10 years ago, but I wasn't going to try run over Austin. I was going to flip him off. Well, he started swerving to get the tires cleaned off, warm them up, and I just didn't catch it on time. And then I got turned backwards, and I'm sitting out in front of the grandstand, stalled, looking like a complete fool. And
I think that's the loudest I've ever heard the stands get, though.
yeah.
And that's why it's funny when you said Witherall sounded withdrawn on the radio. Like usually if someone else does that, it's
Oh, yeah.
we go right from 1 to 30 on the radio, but all of us at the same time just went, now we're gonna have to do something about this. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I haven't talked to Tammy now. I maybe talked to her once last year. I can't remember. But when I found out you guys were here, I reached out to you right away, and I didn't know what kind of a reply I'd get because I leave our Dirty Thursdays open now. I mean, my whole month of June has been scheduled all month except for Thursdays because you just never know what's going to happen during a race season. And when I found out you guys were here, I was tickled, and I was hoping I was going to get maybe we'll have time one of these days and catch you before we leave. But when you said we're going to be there next week, I about pooped myself. I mean, I miss you guys, not just on the racetrack, and I miss you guys tremendously. It's always good to see you guys. I mean, we've had so many people texting us right now, and you know, thanks Kevin for saying what a great show. But it's you guys that make the show, and it just we could sit here for 8 hours and reminisce about shit. But this is, and I knew he was going to be jacked about this too, but I can't thank you guys enough for coming in. Is there anything you want to end? I mean, we're a minute 10 into this, or an hour 10 into this already.
Believe me, we people don't think we miss you guys up here. We do. The weather's just a lot better down there.
Oh, I get it. I was just down in Alabama, in it's right on the other side of the bay. What's the bay down right in the Gulf of Mexico there? My sister lives in, Jesus, I'm losing my brain now.
Mobile Bay?
Yeah, Mobile Bay. So you got Mobile on one side, and then what's right on the other side there? Fairhope. I was just down in Fairhope. My sister lives down there. So Jeremy Ekman is watching. Wow, what a fun show with a smiley emoji. And Jeremy, I hope you caught the whole show because your name has been mentioned a few times.
He's driving to his mom's.
Okay.
She's moving back to East Side.
Oh, okay.
So I know he's got some stuff to do there. He said he was going to be driving there, so I'd assume he probably heard or listened to most of it anyway.
Heather says they leave here and now we start having mild winters. We have had a couple of pretty easy winters up here. Fun show. Great to see you. My wife. How about that?
Yeah, Lori's a great person.
Well, yeah, and she's my teammate. I mean, she's at the track with me almost every single night, no matter where we are. And it was funny. We were talking about the fact that we didn't know if the grandkids were coming up, or she's got an appointment in Fargo, and she's been doing a lot of doctoring. And the first thing I hear is, and when she's not with me, it's like I don't even exist. It's like, where's Lori? Oh, hi, John. That's kind of what I get. And I'm sure you go through the same thing.
Oh yeah, that's.
You guys.
And then I'm going to shout out Laurel there. Yeah. Back in the day there, it was always JMS Motorsports and then you guys. We take the right at the pole there. So where the streets are now. So
Laurel and Zona, great people. Haven't seen them forever, but great people.
Probably a good thing we parked next to them.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
To get parts quicker. You mean?
There you go. A couple of people have asked if you're racing tomorrow night. And, of course, you're not going to be racing tomorrow night. Timmy Schwantz, awesome so far, or awesome show for sure. Great ambassador for hockey and racing. Unfortunately, no, we keep the equipment in Florida. That's Tammy Joe. Yeah. Anyway, there.
Yeah, Schwani.
One of them I got right.
I used to skate with Schwani, but that's another group that we could talk for days about.
Oh, for sure.
I could tell you stories and just good people.
Yeah.
Really good people.
Man, you guys want to come back next Thursday?
I'd love to, but we're going to the High Bank Nationals.
Oh, yeah.
These are some top level. I've been just a fly in the wall enjoying this. Thank you so much for sharing all these awesome just memories. And and for sending these photos in to everyone. Great stuff.
Yeah.
I think we need to make this, you come back. If you're going to keep coming back yearly, I think we should just save a spot for you guys in here.
That's the plan, is to come back June and July because Brodick starts school early August.
Okay.
So, and
what grade's he in now?
He'll be a freshman.
Wow.
yeah.
that's nuts.
Man, we're getting old.
Yeah,
we are getting old.
He'll be a freshman, and I'll be 34 years old. So.
Jeez.
I remember when you guys just made it back from, I think, the wedding and tagged the back of the feature during the sights.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Yeah.
And we ran fifth.
Yeah.
And I had a sign on my car saying that just married.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, because we weren't sure you were going to make it back or not. And then sure enough, there you were. So.
Well, that was Tammy's thing is we have to put just married on the car or you're not going.
We got married in our backyard, and so we're just all sitting around having a beer, getting kind of bored because everybody else had kind of left except my pit guys. And all of a sudden, it's like somebody brings up the track. So I just turned to her. I said, "Should we go?"
Let's do it.
And she's like, "You putting a sign on the car?" I said, "You know it."
Wow.
So went and did that.
Awesome show. Tell you what, Dale, the producer, Stephen Lewis, my co-host, Bob Martin, Torey Martin. Thank you for all the people that have texted in. This was probably going to be one of my top shows in all the hundreds of shows we have done now.
Well, and I know I didn't get right back to you right away, but I saw it and I had to not react to it just the way last Friday was. I was like, all right, I'll react to it later or whatever. But like even coming here today, I walked by the garage where this kind of started.
Well, yeah, it was funny. I texted you and say Bobby and Torey are going to be here, and it was like, what the hell?
I couldn't. I had 3 hours to be there and to get back here and get everything done, and so it was just one of those things I had to keep rolling. But yeah, when I saw it, I was like, they're like for real.
Yeah.
Like, so
awesome.
Anyway,
I would really like to just step in for a second and say thanks for having us.
Oh,
just I mean, we came to, we got invited to one a few years ago, and when you first got going here, and it obviously has evolved into something great.
Yeah,
and,
we're having fun.
Well, that's what counts. If you're having fun when you're working. That's what matters.
I mean, where else can you work and have this much fun and drink Busch Lattes all at the same time? I mean, there we go. All right, we're going to wrap it up. Bob and Torey, again, thank you so much. Make sure you say hi to Tammy Joe and Stephen Lewis, Dale, the producer, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Dirty Thursday, brought to you by River City Speedway and Rumors Sports Bar and Casino. You know what? They're going to bring a bus again for the World of Outlaws when they come back. It didn't go so good last time, but they're going to try it one more time. I don't know why more people didn't get on it, but tell you what, you want to watch that hockey game tonight, you don't want to do it in your stuffy house or your garage, go to Rumors. Wall-to-wall TVs. Get yourself some great grub. In fact, today's sandwich and a side for just $7. They got great lunch and dinner specials. They're express lunch, wall-to-wall TVs. Go get yourself one of those world-famous beer towers and go watch the Florida Panthers kick the crap out of the Edmonton Oilers tonight. Yeah. I had to see if I get a roll out of him there. Rumor Sports Bar and Casino, 7 days a week they're open, and every day from 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. Again, Torey, Bob, all of you, thank you so much for coming. Enjoy the rest of the day. We'll catch you tomorrow morning or at the track tomorrow night, all right? Remember to like, share, tag, and follow us. Hit that notification bell on your smartphone. You will never miss a show that way. Yeah, we love the Forks, all right. Well, Grand Forks' best source is giving the Forks their identity back.